Reach up and touch the back of your neck. Run your fingers down it, under the skin. You are touching 7 bones. Now look at a giraffe. Its neck is almost 2 meters long. Yours is barely longer than your hand. They could not look more different, and they are built from the exact same 7 bones you just touched. Not about 7, not usually 7, exactly 7. And here is the part that should bother you. Almost every mammal that has ever lived was built with exactly 7 neck bones. And for more than 200 million years, nothing has been allowed to change that. The obvious guess is that a giraffe simply has more bones than you, longer neck, more segments, the way a swan or a snake does it. It doesn't. It is 7, same as you, same as a mouse, same as a blue whale. And the reason it couldn't just add an 8th is the most disturbing rule hidden in your own body. This is the story of that number, where it came from, why breaking it can kill you, and why the tallest animal on Earth is the proof that the rule is real. Start with how strange this actually is. A swan can have more than 20 bones in its neck. Snakes, lizards, birds, the rest of the animal kingdom treats neck length like bees on a string. Need a longer neck, add more. Mammals don't get that option. From a shrew to a giraffe to a whale, the count is frozen at 7. The number was locked deep in the mammal line, in an ancestor that lived before any giraffe, any whale, any human, and every mammal since has inherited it, not as a suggestion, as a lock. It was not always this way. Go back far enough, before mammals existed at all, and our own reptile-like ancestors had necks that varied freely, the way a swan's does today. Then, at the very origin of the mammal line, the number snapped to 7 and stopped moving. It has not moved since. Whatever happened in that ancestor did not just set a number, it welded it shut. So the question is not why do mammals have 7? The question is, why can a swan add neck bones freely, while a mammal, any mammal, cannot add even 1? The answer is not in the neck, it is in what the neck is wired to. The instructions that build your neck are written before you are born by a small set of control genes that draw the border between neck and rib cage. But those same genes have a second job, one that has nothing to do with necks. They help decide when cells divide and when they stop. That is the trap in mammals. The machinery that could shift the neck count is wired into the machinery that keeps cell division under control. You cannot quietly move one without disturbing the other. We know this because a biologist named Fritz and Gullis went looking for exactly why mammals are stuck at 7 and found the answer in the worst place imaginable. Occasionally, a human is born with an extra rib high on the neck, a sign the 7-bone border slipped while they were still an embryo. Those individuals turn out to have dramatically higher rates of childhood cancer, and far more of them die before or shortly after birth. Sit with what that means. An animal born with a shifted neck count as an animal more likely to die before it can reproduce. And you can see the same fingerprint in the fossil record. When scientists surveyed the neck bones of the last woolly mammoths, the final, dwindling population before the species vanished, they found an unusually high number carrying exactly this kind of abnormal neck rib. It is the signature of a population under stress, its development beginning to break down. The lock was failing, and the animals were failing with it. So evolution never chose 7 because 7 works best. Every lineage that drifted off 7 was quietly deleted, not because the neck was wrong, but because whatever moved it was killing the animal first. 7 is simply what was left alive. Which brings us back to the strangest neck on the planet, because the giraffe had every reason to break the rule and couldn't. The giraffe faced real pressure in a landscape where the tallest feeder wins, a longer neck meant more food, less competition, more offspring. Everything was pushing it to grow up. But it could not add bones. The lock was 200 million years old. So it did the only thing a mammal is allowed to do. It stretched the 7 it already had. Each of those vertebrae grew until a single neck bone in a giraffe is longer than your whole forearm. Over 25 centimeters each, same blueprint, same count, just pulled to an extreme nothing else attempted. And the constraint didn't stop there. It shaped everything downstream. A neck that long creates a problem the giraffe never asked for. When it lowers its head to drink, blood floods toward the brain with dangerous force. When it lifts its head back up, that blood should drain away and drop the animal unconscious. It doesn't, because the giraffe evolved an entire pressure control system, a web of vessels and valves, just to survive. A neck it was forced to build the hard way. None of it would exist if the giraffe could have simply added an 8th bone. And the blood was not the only thing it was forced to stretch instead of fix. Follow the nerve that controls its voice box, in you, in a giraffe, in every mammal. That nerve does not run straight from the brain to the throat a few centimeters away. It drops all the way down, into the chest, loops under a major artery beside the heart, and climbs all the way back up to the throat it started next to. Hundreds of millions of years ago, in a fish, the path was a short, straight, efficient line. It never was again. As the neck stretched, evolution could not reroute the nerve. It could only lengthen it. In a giraffe, that detour runs over for meters, down and back up, to reach a voice box sitting centimeters from where it began. That is the rule everywhere you look. Evolution almost never redesigns. It stretches what it already has and lives with the cost. Which leaves one final question. If the rule is this strict, has anything ever broken it? Two things, only two. Sloths and manatees are the only mammals on Earth walking around with a different number of neck bones. Some sloths have as many as 9, while manatees drop the other way, down to 6. And they share one strange trait, some of the slowest metabolisms of any mammal alive. The leading idea is unsettling in its simplicity. A body running that slowly divides its cells so rarely that the deadly link between the neck genes and cancer goes quiet, loosening the lock just enough to slip through. The rule didn't have an exception. It had a loophole, and you have to nearly shut your entire body down to reach it. Now go back to your own neck. Line up the skeletons, a mouse, a human, a giraffe, a blue whale. The necks look nothing alike. One you could balance on a fingertip. One is longer than a car. But count the bones on each, and every single neck runs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, no more, no less. The 7 bones you touched a minute ago are the same 7 a giraffe is using right now. To reach leaves nothing else can touch. The same 7 a whale kept when its body became a submarine. The same 7 a bat folded into a wing the size of your thumb. You are not similar to a giraffe. You are running the exact same neck, same count, same origin, same 200 million year old lock. The only difference is how far each of you was stretched from the same 7 starting bones. There is something worth sitting with here. Nothing ever decided on 7. No giraffe chose to stretch instead of add. There was only a number, set in an ancestor none of these animals ever met, held in place across hundreds of millions of years by the simple fact that everything that tried to change it left fewer descendants or none at all. So the next time you turn your head to check a blind spot, to follow a sound, to look at someone across a room, notice that it takes 7 bones to do it. The exact same 7 a giraffe is using at this moment to reach the top of a tree. a number none of you were ever allowed to change. That is what evolution looks like when you zoom out far enough to see it.